Hi guys, this is David. I'm working on the butt. Just did the crack tonight and starting to work on forming the cheeks. It's kind of eluded me so far. This isn't my first try at this. Fortunately, I've had a lot of material to work back from, so I've had several tries at it. And the problem that I have is I don't really have a good way to communicate like a whole butt cheek here. And I think I'm having some success this time because I'm just kind of letting it go from the middle out and rounding it as I go. The Abiglin tool from File has been really useful, both in the crack and down here where I think this may be where I'm starting to have some success. I could always round it back from here, but it was straight down flat, so it never had the kind of roundness that I needed. So being able to curl this under is giving me another dimension, and then I'm finding probably I won't need, I guess part of the problem was that in a person that's squatting like this, there is not really any relief here that defines the cheek. But I think if I can curve up from here, that'll communicate it enough that it'll be acceptable. And how the Abiglin, I apologize if my hands get in the way, I'm working from the right. You notice I've got a different camera angle too. I've got it on a tripod. Normally I suspend it from a monopod that I have mounted above the work. But one of the things I wanted to show you is how well this thing works for creating that relief down here. It's nice that you can rock it and you get a pretty clean meet up without going too deep with your stop cut. And I'm learning that I can work it from either direction. The wood at this point seems to like what I'll call a vertical carving style. You can see what happens with the horizontal style. Hopefully you're close enough that you can see that, but it's kind of chewy compared to these nice smooth strokes that I get when I'm carving either up or down. And I also need some sideways slip, and I think it's this way that it prefers. No, this is fine. One of the things that I'm kind of learning, I try to, analyze this stuff all the time. Maybe it comes more natural to other people, but I always like to know, how it works, why it works. And one of the things that I'm finding is in this area here, which kind of baffles me, maybe if somebody could post some ideas as to why this is. But because this area is kind of curved up, the cuts are much smoother up here, and then right on the pinnacle of the curve they're kind of chewy. Now I know that the wood doesn't change here, so it's obviously the stroke, and I know that sideways doesn't work. And then the other thing, I'm going to try and move this light, maybe it'll give us some better look. Vacuum over here. Need some illumination from below. It's not really doing it. I don't know. Put it back here. That might be better. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, so on this lower curvature, I also get some nice clean cuts. Once I figure out the direction, you can see I also had trouble with these two little notches when I was trying to go across the piece like that. But down on this side, it gives me nice clean cuts. Up on this side, it gives me nice clean cuts. And I'm also I'm removing these sideways gouges, and I'm also starting to do a little bit of an impression here to try and get a rounded butt cheek, and I don't think you need very much. Because like I say, there's not really a break here when a human being squats like that. It's a continuous thing. So, but right on the tip of the thing here is where I have the biggest problem with, unpleasant, I guess, rough removals. It's a little better now. And I'll bet it would be better. Here's another thing that I don't know why. I'm going with a 1F14. It's a straight fishtail. But I'll bet you that behaves better here too. Let me try and go down and see what we get. Yeah, I don't have enough curvature. See how the corners are starting to dig in? But yeah, that is cleaner. It's definitely cleaner than the sideways cut. And 520, kind of a favorite gouge these days. I could even go bigger, but those big gouges are so expensive. I love them though. I like working as big as I can. Part of the reason I like a larger gouge is that I get, I'm a real believer in slicing, and when I've got a nice long profile, I can do a longer slice. So that's coming out pretty clean. All right down here. Maybe I'll put my upper light on. Let me pause you for a minute. That helps a little. I've got a little tiny spotlight that I mount on the monopod up there. But down here, say I want to get some depth here. The abaglen is real nice because I'm actually carving a inverted pyramid here. And I can do that and that. And then just come in the other direction and keep removing those chips. Pretty simple. But then the third thing that it does is real nice is it also does this. It gets in there probably better than even my skew could. And I can come at it from a couple different directions. Come in like that. Come in like that. It's something you guys that use knives probably take for granted. It's probably one of your basic things. Now the other thing is when I'm trying to do a line, this is kind of nice. I'm actually kind of sliding it, rotating it up, using this as a stabilizing kind of lever. And then just slide it up like that. And that gives me a nice stop cut. And if the chip doesn't come out, because this thing is rounded like that, I can rock it and get the whole length of the chip. So the more I use this thing, the abaglen, the more uses I'm finding for it. Who knows, maybe I'll even become a knife guy. But it's great for these recesses down here. See how it takes a nice bite and just kind of automatically, they call it self-jigging. Just kind of automatically slices because of that roundedness. And then I also get a pretty nice long removal. It's almost a stop cut at this point because I can rock the tool. One other thing I might try, I've got a long bent 7L10, which is good. See, I've got that nice long taper on there so that I'm able to get in at a fairly shallow angle. This is a tool that I've had for a pretty long time. I'd say this, I think this was one of my first bent tools, but that may enable me to get in here a little smoother than I can with the larger gouge. Yeah, I can. Unfortunately, you see how the limits of a smaller gouge there, and this is a pretty strong profile too. The 7 is a pretty strong profile. It doesn't really leave. It does good removal, you know, pretty precise removal, but I'm getting to the point here where I need to start working clean. And that's one of the other things I wanted to talk about is as far as working clean and being concerned with the cleanness of my cuts. When I'm hogging away a lot of material like here, can you see that? Yeah. I don't care if it's a little chewy, because actually it's probably better because I get such good material removal there that I don't mind if it's a little chewy. But when I'm getting down to where I need to be thinking about that this may be the last cut that I'm going to make, and this is going to be the surface of the carving, then I start to think about working cleaner. And really, even though it slows me down, I try to make clean cuts almost all the time. Not when I'm hogging, but whenever I'm kind of defining an area, it's been hogged out, and I'm just kind of working on the geometry of it, I try to work clean. There was a post about inside bevels allowing you to. I don't have much on this one. I think probably my most pronounced inside bevel is on my oldest tool. And I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but I can see it really clearly here. And that's from, I've kind of established it with a hard black Arkansas stone, but also stropping. One of the nice things about wood carving tools is they get better and better. You know, the more you use them, the more those kinds of things like inside bevels establish themselves. I'm real glad that I spent a lot of time. I'm kind of a tool nut, you know, and I'm glad I spent a lot of time reading books about sharpening, especially Chris Pye's book. It's not going to like that, but it will like this. You see this rough area here? That's from this. It doesn't want me to go down at that point. It wants me to go up vertically. And that gives me a nice buttery finish. That could almost be a finished cut. So what I was saying about reversing the gouge and the inside bevel, there is a very slight one there, but I'm glad I'm doing this because that's telling me that I need to make more of an effort to establish inside bevel on this particular gouge. And somebody posted that it's more critical on the stronger gouges. When I say a stronger gouge, it's a higher number for one thing. This is a 5. That's a fairly weak profile. This is a 9. It's a very curved profile. This one has a decent inside bevel. But the poster said that it's more critical on the more pronounced, or the more, what am I saying here? The more powerful curvatures, the more curvy your profile is, the more important the inside bevel is. But also they were saying that one of the major advantages is using it reversed. the inside bevel helps you to helps the tool work when you're using it reverse, and I found that to be true. But the main advantage for me is being able to make a cut. Because there's a back bevel, which I always like to keep them fairly shallow, as you know, the inside bevel matches up with that and increases the angle, actually decreases the angle at which you can cut wood. This is too shallow. Without the inside bevel, I'm probably up like this. But with the inside bevel, I can be fairly flat. I can make a nice shallow cut, and that'll help the cleanness of the cuts too. See what I mean? It just really wants to be, it really wants to tear away at that. Just below it, it's fine. Just above it, if I'm going up, it's fine. But right on that mound. And I guess it's because that the grain is in layers and the mound is just really a very thin top layer. So when I talk about working clean, one of the things that helps is doing a lot of slicing, but also taking very small amounts, very thin slices. Helps me to work cleaner. And I like to, as far as working clean, I like to do it even though I know that this isn't going to be the surface. I like to work clean to be in the habit of it, to be practiced at it. And also, I need to be slowed down. I'm not really that experienced a carver, so anything that slows me down and keeps me from digging away too much wood and makes me think about the piece that I'm working is a benefit. And that's, you know, using hardwoods has been beneficial for me because it slowed me down. You know, basswood might be easier to get through, and I like it. But it's a real advantage that when the wood is hard for me because it slows me down, makes me think. Also lets me know if my tools are sharp. So that's kind of all I wanted to talk about today. Thanks for watching.